wanting to do a video based on thoughts, and it's correlating to storylines. So in my previous videos, if you look through the titles, you'll see storylines. And storylines have been something that I could see that loop me into an experience, right? So when we're younger, we remember having stories, and the stories would remind us of a feeling, and that feeling continued to happen throughout our lifetime. And so I would say to you, from the experience of me in the mirror, take a look at your stories. The storylines are looping you. And I could see the storylines, and I can see how when I'm in the storyline, it's an identifiable experience. And then my brain, my spirit, my ego, the Divine Mother, all of it, right? So this constant moving energy, my I am presence, start sharing with me, look into your thoughts. How are your thoughts supporting the story that creates a loop in, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, the thoughts, I forgot about the thoughts. A little trickier, right? The thoughts in the last week since I've gathered the information has been probably one of the most difficult challenges, because the thoughts are the story, and obtaining new thoughts about things is directly linked into this matrix system, dimension. I mean, it's crazy, right? And it's at a core level. So as I pick up the different thoughts, it starts playing with my ability to see authenticity in the thought in which I'm having. And there's this real pull into the conditioning of those thoughts through family history, through experiences, and it's a lot more difficult, to be honest with you, than I had imagined it would be. I was like, oh my God, thoughts, I'll change my thoughts. More of a challenge, I'm not gonna lie. Thoughts, what the heck are they? Well, they're part of the story. They hold energy, they hold creativity in them, and they hold manifestation as well as emotions. I am directly working on my thoughts. I had one experience today that I thought was very interesting, considering the fact that I've been working on thoughts for the last week, and it's tricky. It's so tricky because if you tell a story, if you repeat a story, everything comes down to the thoughts and the emotions that go with it. And we're trained like little monkeys to see through the past experiences, or to ask friends, family members, strangers, what have you, their opinion, and then we weigh that against if their opinion is more concisely put together than ours. And if they mention anything that we haven't taken into consideration, we might forego our own thoughts for theirs. I find that very similarly, I find that happening a lot with history, the economic situation, the global situation in our government system are some of the very few through documentations. I was watching a documentary yesterday on global, and it was in their thoughts and their ability to hold those thoughts in an authoritative manner that if you didn't have your own level of awareness, you would follow their thought projection. Perhaps TV was even set up to ensure that that was occurring on so many different levels. And in some ways, and in every way, we are taking in thought forms, belief systems, transposing them into stories, ideologies, and ways of life. And that goes into everything. So when I started examining in the last week to week and a half, I think it was 2 weeks now, thoughts, right? It can be at times overwhelming because you're having experiences in this reality system that do back up a lot of thoughts. As justifiable. So that's my theory around how to look at it from different perspectives. So thoughts are what you think catapults energy. What you think is possible catapults energy. What you think is the story in this moment catapults energy. Which kind of goes along with the interesting theory of how you get people to think a particular thought, like I am open to receiving love, I am love, therefore I receive love and I experience love. Kind of like that, right? So all these mantras would be one way in which you could do it. For me, I wanted to see if I could do it authentically with changing the feeling and the thought together. The story hasn't been created because the equation for this one is feelings and thoughts before anything's ever created. It's easier said than done. There are a lot of lingering patternings and a lot of lingering stories and feelings that go with those stories I hadn't realized were still in motion when I started changing my thought, looking to change my thought, right? So that's been the challenge piece to this. So the equation, as we just talked about, is a feeling and a thought. But what can move about very stickily is whatever lingering energy, right, from this reality system is pulling and tugging you around. Now, one of the things that has helped me specifically with myself is when my thought feels like it's being hijacked to an irrelevant thought or to a way in which I don't want to think or choose to think, then I just ask to be assisted with the deletion of that thought and the emotions that go with it. And that's the hijacking part that I was telling you about. So sometimes your thoughts can be hijacked because we are plugged into a collective consciousness as well. So we've got a collective consciousness we're tapped into. Then we have our subjective and objective experiences based on our family history, that lineage, and then also the experience that we've had or the things in which we've seen through others' experiences and that from which they've told us. You can tell I do not think these videos out prior. I just get on here and see what would like to share from my experience. And so this is it thus so far. What I can share with you that that I'm noticing in my patterning is I've got juxtaposed thoughts running through. I've got this linear experience, right, that's being one flow of consciousness. Then I have this get a hold of your thinking. So I'm combining thinking with another flow of consciousness. And then I've got the juxtaposed, right, the opposite of things trying to say that they don't work that way, and that's not how they're lined up. So I've got all these different mixed messages going on right now. It's not clean and it's not flawless, but it's a good time to do a video to show you the different positionings if you so decide to take on this challenge, this thinking challenge, how we think is creating. And I believe we're moving towards a new way of being and a new dimension in which we are being in. We're just learning the rules all over again, because the ancient side of ourselves already knows, right? Already knows how to maneuver, but yet it's come here to be with the ego side of us that's learning things from this new perspective. And it's so tricky. It's tricky, and it's okay to say that it feels tricky, and each step feels like, that didn't really work, or let's give that a try and see if that theory will work or hold. And they're not confident steps right now, but at the same time, there are moments when I feel incredibly confident and I'm pushing forward with concise definition. It varies. It's like a mixture of everything right now. And I'm gonna stop it for this moment and encode this video, and then I'll come back as I can gather more thoughts. This video is encoded with the highest light, highest love, and highest of sounds and vibration for those that are ready for this information. Ooh.